Good day everybody, welcome to another video. It's been a while, but I am still your personal funky sim pilot. My name is Arkady Gidzenko and I will be your captain for today. And it has been a while since we did a stream here on the channel, but today we're back to do another flight. And as you can see, we got the Croatian Airlines Airbus A32NX. Get a little bit of another different view for you. We're sitting at the Athens airport in Greece, and we're going to fly to the Split airport in Croatia using the Croatia livery for the A32NX mod for Microsoft Flight Simulator. For today we chose the real world weather, but since it is now actually dark in this part of the world, I chose to choose like noon, so that at least we get something to look at. So that is why we are having an interesting combination between real world weather and not real world time going on right now. It's been a while, as I said, so hopefully we do not perish. As you can see, we got the stairs are already there, obviously, and the catering and the power supply, the ground power unit, as you can see here, it's the little car, and obviously the luggage, the baggage. So let's just jump on in and start the sucker up. And I will go over the flight plan momentarily. So how do we start this thing up again? Oh yes, we start with the batteries. So I believe usually you check the battery power. I believe it should be above 24 or 25 something volts, which it is. So I'm going to turn on the batteries there. And then we turn on the external power that is available for us via the ground power unit that we saw earlier. Turn on the strobe lights, nav lights, see about the signs. Well, let's turn them on already now. We arm the emergency exit lights and the overhead integrated lights as well. Crew oxygen supply. And quite important, the aiders. Oh, they go to nav. So the aircraft is powering up. It has powered up, but it is now trying to find its location, obviously. So what we'll do is make sure that we got something to look at instead of these darkened screens. Never helped anyone, especially in broad daylight conditions. You want, the lights to be turned on, preferably all the way you can, so that you can actually make out what they're trying to tell you, because that is after all what they're there for, right? Hope everybody's been well. So we got the little lights going on here as well. That should be everything with regards to the lighting inside the flight deck. So today's flight, we are, as I said, we're sitting at the Athens airport in Greece. Right there. Can we zoom in? Maybe let's just use this little sucker here. So this is our weather for today, and we'll be flying. Can we move it over here? So we'll be flying here to Split airport. So it's not a very long flight. It's what was it? Does it say here? Maybe it was about 1 hour 10 minutes or 1 hour 20 minutes or something. Anyway, so let's go ahead and set up the MCDO. I believe there were some minor changes recently. One interesting change to the latest experimental version was the implementation of the TCAS system. We could actually see this in the previous video, I believe, or one of the previous videos, one of the latest videos with the Airbus A32NX, where you could see that the aircraft all of a sudden encountered traffic, and the TCAS system actually jumped into life and descended the aircraft to avoid a collision, or at least to increase the distance between the two aircraft in order to prevent a collision, obviously. So it was nice to see that implemented. So en route time should be about 1 hour 33 minutes. So we got, let's have a look, we got shuttle take on November 812, we got Croatian 812 in there. We're from Athens to Split. So that should be that for now. Let's quickly have a look at the aircraft status, and we can see 2nd of December, 29th of December, air cycle is also correct. So we go to the NTA page, we request the flight plan, and there you go, it magically all gets populated. Cost X36 flight level 240 is our cruising altitude for today. So let's go to the flight plan. This is interesting. Flap 1, flap 2. Never seen this earlier before. That's quite cool. Oh, let's have a look what that's going to do for us. That is interesting. Flap 1, flap 2. I've never seen this. Okay, move ENOXA, AIOSA, RILIM, flight plan discontinuity, so we're going to get rid of that. Press the clear button. Clear, and click it. Okay, so we got a starting flight plan here. So now we want to know, obviously, what is going to be our departure. So we'll have a look at the OFP, and what it says, block fuel 5.3. Let's see, it will say runway 21 left, the core 1 Foxtrot departure. 21 left, core 1 Foxtrot. So you click on departure, 21 left, and you look for the core 1 Foxtrot, which is right this one. You click the button next to it, and we wait for it, and we click on the insert. So there we got it. Now we do the same for the arrival, which is the RILIM 1 Zulu on 05. So runway 05, RILIM 1 Zulu. So ILS 05 Zulu there, and the RILIM 15, RILIM 1 Zulu, there you go. Okay, we insert it as well on the return, and we should have the complete flight plan. Obviously there's some flight plan discontinuity sneaking in there, but we just get rid of it. No edit, you click the clear button and you select it. Sometimes there will be a manual, it will say the word manual before it, and you have to click the manual first. Let's see, we fly over Delta 203 Whiskey. For some reason I'm not really sure, but probably it's the departure route. We'll see this later when we have a look at the charts. Okay, so the flight plan's in there, that's good. Let's see. Still no secondary. That map we might need. I believe the last time the performance weight and ballast page was also a little bit different. Right now it was no longer possible to set the fuel there for some reason. Let's start the boarding. Oh, we cannot, we have to request first. Now we got 174 passengers for today. They can now start boarding. Excuse me. Let's see, we have free text, messages and messages, weight and balance ages, this is all in it press. Let's have a look. Can we, what's the second page saying here? So I guess we just go to the Unit B page, have a look there. The block fuel was 3.5, I believe. Oh, 5.3. Same numbers, different sequence. Let's take 6.3 with us. So I'm not really sure how this is going to work, so bear with me 1 second. We entered here 6.3, but obviously it has not updated there, which is no problem at all, but we definitely do need it. So 6.3 we have entered it, so the Airbus is now counting on us to bring along 6.3 for the block fuel. Not really sure now how to change. Well, we can change this with the flight pad, so let's just do that then. You go to the fuel, and what we will do for now is a little cheat button. Excuse me, 6300. It's going to do real-time fast or instant. Let's do it instant for now. And there you go. We are looking at fuel tanks. And let's check it here. And you can already see 6280. So that's okay. So we will use that. The aircraft is woken up, knows where it is now. So we can have a little look at the flight plan, have a look and see if it's making any kind of sense, obviously. So this is our arrival. So we do not want to look at the arrival just yet. So we go to the flight plan. Let's see if we can get these both in the same view. Let's see, let's go the other way. So after SIM update 7, for some reason, after a couple of clicks with the mouse, it will stop clicking and you sort of have to wait and move your mouse. The mouse cursor just disappears. This, yeah, it's not really what you would call an update, if you ask me. I can't see shit, man. Okay, so this is where we are. We're at the Athens airport here. So we're going to take off runway 21, fly, we cross Delta 203 Whiskey, and then we turn. We will see this on the departure charts momentarily. Can I get any kind of better view? Oh, let's go the other direction. So that looks to be looks like a decent route. And then when we arrive at the split, there is obviously the arrival procedure as well for runway 05, which you can see here. Looks fairly simple. So looks fine. So we're just going to take it, constraints, turn them on. Let's head on over to the MCDU one more time. Let's request the weather here. AC menu, weather request, and we ask for the weather. We send it, and we just wait until it arrives for us. Let's have a look outside a little bit. There's an EasyJet there. So I get rid of the catering. There we go, catering, baggage, you can go to. And they're going. Thank you very much, people. Okay, we go to the receive messages, METAR, we click it. We do not need to print it now, all we want to know is the wind 220 at 10, and obviously the QNH 1008. So we put that in here, 1008. So now we know our correct altitude. So let's have a look at the departure chart. This is a different routing, so we unload it and let's have a look at the flight. New flight. It is from the sim brief. Yes. Okay. So standard instrument departure, and I forget the name, so I'm quickly checking on the sim brief that I have still open in a different separate window. It's the Core 1 Foxtrot. That's the one that we're looking for. Can we make this any bigger? A little bit, that helps. Go to Core 1 Delta. To Tango. Core 1 Juliet. Core 1 Foxtrot. We pin it and we have it now. Let's also pull up the taxi chart. It's probably this one, airports. What's the parking stand tell us? Can we see ourselves? So here we are. So for the runway 21, was it 21 right or 21 left? I forget as well. I'm really poor at remembering sometimes these details if I do not know the airport, so just checking here. 21 left, okay. So we go to this one, 21 left, so we're sitting here at the apron north. So basically we go into Charlie. Let's see, or I think we go straight to Delta 7 there, and then we go on to Delta. And just keep on going Delta until we reach the holding point, Delta 12 or Delta 13, elevation 306, or that's an 8. So yeah, so we got this. And now the departure, let's have a look at that. if this makes any kind of sense, let's get rid of the positioning bug right there. Core 1 Foxtrot, that is ours. So we take off to the Sierra Papa Alpha, okay, until we are 23 nautical miles from Sierra Papa Alpha, VOR, which is probably this one, sitting here right at the airport itself. And we are not allowed to be below 6,000 feet, but we will definitely make that. Then we take a right turn. And I believe this is, let's see, there was this one that we needed to overfly, and I think that is actually this one. There's another VOR there we're going to be using, but you know, for now we're just going to let the Airbus do it. Get ourselves going nice and lazy here. So that is all set. So I think we're ready to go. We got the fuel. The passengers should be on board now. So I hope for them, because we're going. So let's start up the APU. Let's listen to the APU starting up. It's always a cool sound. I love it. So the APU is available. So we turn on the APU bleed and we can get rid of the external power. Let's turn on the fuel pumps there as well. So we are now on internal power. We do need to start the engines, obviously. Let's have a little look outside to orient ourselves. Not really sure how do they... Okay, so we push back tail to the left. So let's get rid of the stairs. And stairs are going. You can see on the door page that the cabin door is the only open door now, but that will now close momentarily as well. There you go, so the door is closed. Okay, so we're almost ready to go. Let's have a look. Look down here at the system. So we close and lock actually the cockpit door. Are on the ground spoilers and flaps go to the 1 setting. I believe we're not fully ready in the MCU. We're not really finished there, so let's quickly go back there. My apologies. So we're at the init B page 6.3. We put that in. That is correct. The trip went for today's flight, so let's have a look at the wind component in the OFP. The average wind component minus 0.15. minus 015, there we go, put it in. So we got a headwind, giggity, and yep. Finally the performance page. So the V1 speed's calculated. Oh, it's no longer calculated. Uh-oh, we run into a problem, because now we have to think for ourselves, and I've never learned to think for myself. Oh my god, man. Okay, people, we're grounded. We're not flying. We're not taking this thing anywhere, which is actually kind of cool, unless I'm doing something wrong. But you know, it's been on my personal agenda as well for a while, as among with lots of other things, to be able to, you know, to do the math on this. You know, how does it work? How do you decide? How do you determine really what your takeoff speeds are? Because so, you know, until now it was calculated for you by the MCDU. I'm not really sure how this goes in real life. What I do know is that in real life, I don't think, well, in any case, I know that pilots work it out. If they are the only ones working it out, that I'm not sure about. So I could very easily imagine that the computer does it, but they always, they have to do it themselves as well. Obviously, so they know that there's, you know, there's like a double check, and they do it together, I believe, as well. So the pilot flying and the pilot monitoring, they both do it, and they have to agree. They have to come up with the same number, obviously, because that's quite important. So yeah, so I'm not really sure what we're going to do about this. I'm multitasking anyway, because I have just rolled the pre-takeoff rolling cigarette, so that has been dealt with. But yeah, it could be, because I saw on the MCDU manual that the performance weight and balance page looks a little bit different than it used to. There is no fuel section here, so that is one thing. We could have a look at the flypad and see if they change anything, added anything. Top of descent landing, fetching. This will not be it. This is navigation charts. These are the active frequencies, and these are the failures. So it doesn't look like it's. We're going to find the information we're looking for here with regards to the V1 speeds, or the V speeds, I should say, not only the V1, obviously. So that's pretty interesting. So obviously we could just put in some random numbers that we, you know, usually sort of see for these kinds of flights, but it would be coolest, obviously, to be able to actually put in something that makes sense. And I will not be able to do that right now, I'm afraid. So to give you it, so let's have another look. Unit B page. No sir, no clue whatsoever. So we're going back to our performance page. Is there anything that we can do on the performance page, perhaps, so that we do not have to think? You see the problem right there. I have to think and immediately have to open a new soft drink here. And we'll have to check the transition altitude. That's always a little easy. Just check on the charts if that's correct. So let's think out loud here. Usually it was around, let's say, 122 or maybe 121, 122 and 124 or something. But yeah, this is like complete winging it, like utter and complete wingage. So I do apologize. I'll have to dive into this and learn a thing or two, obviously. We're doing a flap 1 takeoff, thrust reduction, acceleration is always 1500 feet, well, usually 1500 feet above the airport elevation. As you can see, we're at 1780 minus 1500. This is 280, which is around the altitude that we are currently sitting at. It's a little higher. We're not at 280, we're at 320. The airport elevation was at 306 or 307 according to the charts here. My apologies. Let's see. This is an altitude 9,000, and we could see the, does it say what the elevation is? Airport elevation is 308. Okay. Yeah, so this is what we're going to do. We're just going to take off, and let's hope that we do not crash, because nobody wants to crash. So we turn our attention back here to the middle section, and some of these functions are still on up. So this cock maybe 5, 6, 2, 5. There you go. And we turn on TARA. I want to see all. Turn it on. Here usually I'm still not really completely sure which one is which and what was the, well, some of them I am, but not all of them. Okay, so we got that. So I think we should be getting ready for the pushback. So let's call the tug. Let's have a look outside. There's a friend tug coming. There it clicks into place. So we release the parking brake and we tell them to go reverse. Let's go a little slower speed. Let's have a look outside a little bit. Obviously this is a luxury that in real life you do not have, but on the other hand, in real life you do have the luxury because there is dedicated ground personnel that is being your eyes. You know, they know precisely where they're going to push you. So while we're pushing back, I think we should. Shall we turn? Oh, let's do it. We turn this way, yes. I am going to wait a little bit with jumping inside the flight deck to turn on look. However, this is probably not good. Let's stop it. I mean, we're just blocking one of the roads for the ground service vehicles, which obviously probably not what we should be doing. Let's start up engine number 2. Coming, and let's see, initial climb, let's go 10,000, so that we got something. Turn on the constraints for the pilot monitoring as well. So I'm really curious to see how this fly-by-wire mod is going to continue developing, and I'm also anticipating the release of the Phoenix team. They are developing a payware A320, which is set to be expected to be at or near study level. So, you know, that's going to mean that there's a ton of work to learn with regards to the systems. So I'm curious to see how that's going to work out, because, you know, what I said, what we encountered here with the V1 and the V2 and the VR speeds, you know, usually it used to calculate itself, so it's good to get some challenge in there, right? That you got the numbers right and everything. And the same goes for the systems, the hydraulical system and the electrical systems. At some stage it might actually be, especially when the system starts failing, you know, it's nice if you know what is doing what and how does it work. For instance, you can see generator 2, it is from the engine number 2. This is not flowing, this is not flowing yet because the engine number 1 is still starting up. So you could expect, once we hear the click, which is now, there you go, and then it starts supplying power to the electrical systems as well. But obviously there is a lot to learn, and one could only hope to achieve the same knowledge level as real-world pilots, obviously, from the luxury of just sitting at the home, you know. That's very likely not going to happen very quickly. Unless obviously you apply yourself and, you know, there's textbooks. Just saying. Okay, so the engine's running. Believe we should be ready now to get taxiing, so let's turn on the nose wheel steering lights and the taxi lights. One more check here. Let's keep the APU running for a little bit now. So what we're going to do with the taxiing, where was it? Airport. Let's put a pin in this one for now. We're just probably only going to use it now and get rid of the sidebar there. So what we'll do, we're sitting here, so we're going straight, and we get right here on the taxiway, and then we continue along to one left. So we should be able to do that. Okay, so here we go then. Now you know what? Let's see if we can be gentlemen and considerate and find a yellow line for us to follow. So we do not go rogue, you know what I mean. So we get onto Delta here, we take a left. Have a little look outside. Ground speed is a little high, 38, so let's step on the brakes some. What you can do, You go to the flight control page. Aileron full left neutral, full right neutral. Look outside to see if we do not crash into anything. Or not see, actually, rather make sure we do not do that. Okay, so we're going slow now, so we got a little more time. So pitch up full, neutral, pitch up down, neutral, and obviously rudder right and rudder left. So the flight controls appear to be working. We can turn on the max auto brake for the takeoff in case we get a rejected takeoff. The Airbus probably, with a runway this long, does not need the entire runway at all. But we are going to do it nonetheless, just because it's cool. There's a sense of, sort of a feeling of, I don't know, like a completeness or something, if you know what I mean. So here are the holding point. We're positioning ourselves now. Hopefully there's no incoming traffic. Probably should have turned on the landing lights before we actually got on the runway. You want to be as visible as you can, obviously. Okay, so here we go. Let's turn on the landing lights and the takeoff lights there as well. And we get rid of the pack 1 and the pack 2. Have a little more power for the takeoff. See which one we're going to stick with. Let's do this view for now. And if we're not forgetting anything, I think we should go. So let's do it. Knots, or this is I think 80 knots, so let go of the stick a little bit, there you go. I'm just going to wing the speeds and just choose for a lift off about now. And make sure we get about 17 degrees, so which we have, positive rate, gear up. I'm going to go at P1. For the man toggle, we should go to lever climb. You can see it's flashing now. We'll reduce the throttle to the climb. There you go. There is Athens, have a nice window view. This one looks good. Retracting the flaps. Let's quickly go back to the flight deck there. front, plus leave us to climb, we're climb mode and we're following lateral navigation. So we got about 19 nautical miles until we reach Delta 203 Whiskey, at which point we should be above 6,000 feet, but we are already at 5,000 and we're climbing at 4,000 feet per minute, so it's going to be 25, what am I saying, it's going to be 15 seconds, there we go. So there we are. And there's nobody here, so let's just go to our cruising altitude. I believe it was 240. Just quickly double check here in the init page, 240, so there you go. Okay, so now that we are after departure, let's turn off the APU, turn on the PACs again. And the nozzle steering lights and the takeoff lights, they can go. Oh. Sometimes this happens when I translate. That's a pilot error, my apologies. So turn on the AP1 again. See, yeah, everything looks good. So we reach transition altitude, so we go to standard QNH. We're at 10,000 feet, so we're going to turn off the landing lights, and seatbelt signs can come off as well. These are on the ground spoilers, and the engine selection can go to norm again. And I think we should be on our way. All we're doing now is just climbing to our cruising altitude, and we're following the flight plan. You can zoom out a little bit, that is in, so let's zoom out fully. Oh, obviously we do have to make a turn, so let's have a little look outside of the window. There's the moon. A little in-flight entertainment by the pilot for the pilot. Okay, so what we're looking at here, the flight level 180 coming up, and we're about to make a right turn to the Delta Delta Mike DOR. There is a speed constraint. Speed constraint? What's the word? Man, that's a tongue twister. Speed constraint of 210 knots, obviously, apparently. Let's have a look at the chart, how they go about with this one. What are they saying? Oh, obviously we're already past this point, we are now here. Bank 15 degrees, max 210. Speed is going down. Well, let's have a look here what's going on. This is interesting. Does this show in the flight plan? Let me zoom in for you. It does show. We are on managed speed mode, and what do you know, man, it is actually powering down. That is pretty cool. That is really pretty cool, man. So is that like a noise abatement thingy? Maybe we can read something. Level restrictions are applied in case of radar failure. That is not it. In order to secure. Climb to 12 degrees, runway access Sierra Papa Alpha VOR or 700, whichever is later. Intercept Sierra Papa Alpha radio 203. We could have flown the radio ourselves. Well, I say this as if it is easy for me to do this in the Airbus. Turn right to DDM VOR, radio 329 to KOR and the B. So I'm definitely going to look into this at a later time again and see if we can actually fly this manually or semi-manually, that we tell the autopilot what to do. In other words, you intervene. So what I'm talking about is you, instead of just using general heading modes and stuff, actually switch to the track FBA mode, where you can have the Airbus fly and follow tracks for to and from VORs. So we are 12.6 nautical miles from DDM, so let's have another look what they're saying. Right to DDM VOR, I believe then radio 329er to KOR NDB. So the KOR NDB 392. So you go to the red nav page, put in KOR, see if we can play with this. There you go, 392, and we have this now on our number 1, which is this one. And if you now turn over to the Rose VOR, then let's get a better view here. So this is the direction of the ADF, I would assume. And what they're saying is, as soon as we reach Delta Delta Mike, let's put it in as well. Delta Delta Mike. And the course for Delta Delta Mike was it doesn't really say course, I believe. And then the radio 329er to the KOR NDB. Okay. The aircraft appears to be turning. Let's switch over to the ARC page, ARC view. So it is not turning to the KOR. We could let it fly itself, obviously, but if we wanted to intervene, I believe you could, for instance, choose the Rose VOR, so you have somewhat of a graphical overview as well, or a graphical representation, and then you could switch to track FBA, and you could should be be able to... I'm not really sure how this works for the NDBs, I'm sorry. I mean, you know, it looks like it's already doing it, but the 329er, I believe it was, it's an outbound radio 329er. There you go. So we are going to have to put in a course there. 329er for the DDM. So now, if we look here on the, well, we should put the VOR on there as well. My bad, I did not do this. So now you can see the VOR is behind us. It is pointing behind us. Well, looks like we're sort of spot on, I believe. But obviously I'm in total noob mode now. Course bar is set to 000. Is that for the ADF? How does this work? Or are we, what we could try, let's just experiment a little, put in KOR here on the right rather than on the left, and put the DDM on the left with the course of 329er. We select the VOR to be displayed on the number 1, and the number 2 we want to have displayed the ADF. And now you can actually see we're slightly to the left of the track that we're supposed to be on, if I'm reading this correctly. 329er, 330. So yeah, it looks like actually the Airbus doing a great job on its own, which is good, because it's also helping me understand how to fly these radials. My apologies. How long is this leg going to be? It is going to be 30.2 nautical miles, and we can see the DME right here. It's 25 nautical miles now, so we got 7.2 nautical miles to go. But yeah, you could intervene. Oh, there's some turbulence. You could intervene. We are at track FBAA setting now, and so 329er, it's actually what it is flying. But if we believe, we're not going to mess with it. We got like 8 nautical miles to go. We don't want to make too big of change, but you could, if you want to mess with it, we can do this for experimental sake. Let's say we, well, which direction do we choose? We are slightly to the left. So you could say, move a little bit. I know what I'm doing. I just not going to confuse myself before I do anything. That is. So let's manage it. But we should go to the right a little bit. But I believe if you fly to the left, the directions go to the right, and then you compensate by turning into the direction that you're actually having to go. You can see it's turning. So let's just switch back to the normal mode. We're at cruising altitude, by the way. Oh, it's the wrong button. Altitude cruise. We're at speed mode and following navigation, so it's good. Yeah, so That was fun to have a little experiment, or actually to get some idea of what the Airbus is trying to do and what we are supposed to be doing actually ourselves. Let's turn these two off for now. We do not need them now. Just get rid of the flashing. So we're on our way to Peacock, which is 5.6 nautical miles, and then which is just a bunch of waypoints from here. Have a look outside. The Croatia Airlines livery. So that's it, we're on our way, people. Cruising altitude. And we could maybe have a look at what's going to be the arrival at this Split airport. So let's open up the charts list. Yes, this Navigraph's way of telling us that it's looking for something, or is it, this is an interesting animation right there, isn't it? Poor thing, I have to put it out of its misery. Let's try that again. Open the charts list. There you go. And what was going to be our, let's have a look, what's going to be our arrival. Check on the OFP. So our arrival procedure is going to be the RILIM 1 Zulu 405. So we find it. Arrivals. One Zulu is one of these. Well, let's not do it like this, but we put a pin, that's good. And the approach for runway ILS 05, we chose the ILS Zulu as well. So now at least we should be able to know what is expected of us. Get rid of the left-hand pane there. So this is the entire routing. So with regard to the arrival, let's see what is going on. We got the RILIM, it's RILIM 1 Zulu. I believe this is an RNAV. Yeah, it's a simple RNAV approach. We go from RILIM. Are there any constraints there? At or above 5,000 feet, that is split 614. So we can have a look in the MCDU for the split 614. You go to the progress page. 614. And that is still 399 nautical miles. And if you want to calculate, the simple head calculation would be, we want to be at, what was it, 5,000 feet? What is the mouse going again? 5,000 feet. We're at 24,000. So we're going to descend. Oh man, it's simple head calculation, Arkady. 19,000, if I'm not mistaken. Usually I look at these things, you know, inside my head like a picture, and I get confused. But yes, it's 19,000 that we're going to descend. So 19 times 3 is 60 minus 357, so around 57 and then maybe at 10, so 58 nautical miles should be the distance from which we should, that's our top of descent. Luckily there's also the calculator for us, current altitude and target altitude would be 5,000 feet, and it says here 60 nautical miles, so that's sort of the same, that's fine. So we got 60 nautical miles range, and then we start our descent, so which is still a while to go. It's about 240 nautical miles. And what can we expect then? Basically we just follow Sierra Papa 614, 5,000 plus, Motmu 3,500, Sierra Papa 602, 3,000, Kimix 3,000. Kimix is the initial approach fix. We go this direction, Motmu Sierra Papa 602, Kimix. We should be at or above 3,000 feet. And then we come from the Kimix, Sierra Papa 401, which will then be 7.2 nautical miles ahead, so it's fairly quickly. So we should start our descent from 3,000 feet to 2,800, following a track of 049 degrees. Until we reach, what is this called? Yeah, so until we're 8.6 from the IST. I think the IST is the ILS here. Yep. Here we can see the ILS, and there's also the SPL, the split VOR sitting right there. So until we are 8.1 from the split and 8.6 from the IST. This is where the glide slope starts, and what else do they say? Do not descend below 2,800 until passing CTR boundary. Warning, gusts, wind shear and turbulence can be expected on the final approach, takeoff and climb out from runway 05 in conditions of strong northeasterly winds. Okay, and the go around procedure, missed approach, you climb straight ahead at 0.8 from IST after passing HR, runway 05, U-turn right, max of 185 knots, climbing on track 133, at 7.0 dm from IST, intercept and follow 133 degrees to the hum, NDB, climbing to 5,000 and hold. It's always nice to look at these things, and there's a lot of information on them. Transition up to 10,000 feet, so we will need that later. Yeah, so we have some general idea of what is going to be expected. Usually, you know, flying the Airbus, it's fairly simple. But there are instances to believe this approach. I don't know if it's very much of a challenge. Doesn't look like it. But you'll only see it when you get there. You know, maybe there's like a really poor visibility or something. But you know, as long as you're flying ILS approach, it's not very difficult. Airport elevation is low at 78 feet, runway sitting at 70 feet, and we got the decision altitude was 440. Well, nothing to get too stressed about. So the wind is having some fun, as you can see. Let's see if we can up our speed a little bit. I think we could go 0.1 Mach speed. Hopefully we do not kill ourselves in the process on a live stream and embarrass ourselves even further. So let's have a look at the speed there, because we are definitely getting close to the overspeed tape. So let's go back one notch to 0.8. Keep a little bit of headroom there. And in the meantime, maybe to look out the window. See, can we find maybe another view? Well, I think this looks nice. changed around on the plane. So I guess that's why they call me the funky scene pilot. I tell you, man, one of these days I'm going to hook up my bass guitar straight into the laptop. Well, maybe with an audio interface between, and just jam the hell out, man. Maybe even insert a drum computer sound, so we got some rhythm going on, and we got some nice, fresh, clear, warm bass sounds, and we just get really down and dirty, you know what I mean? And just get things funked up, you know? But this is just like an electrical guitar, but it's not even plugged in, you know? But it's just, you know, it's just jamming. Sky is blue. Why you're feeling blue, sky? The sky is blue. Tell me why. The sky is feeling blue. So is the tail of my plane. The sky is feeling blue, and so is the tail of my plane. Let's do it again. Yeah, so we could go on for hours, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So let's have a look at if we're going anywhere or not. Obviously we're in the cruise flight, so cruise stage of the flight, so we still got some, I don't know, I would say around 142 nautical miles to go. What are we? No, not even. It is a lot more than that. 298, 297, alright, so all systems within established parameters. We're at Mach speed, we're at cruising altitude, still following navigation. That's good. We're at 5.2 nautical miles from Parma, so looks good. Let's have a look at the outside of the aircraft for a second. So I was thinking that the tail was feeling blue. It does definitely have some blue dots on it, or little squares. The red squares were bigger, so why was the tail feeling blue? Maybe because it's actually supposed to be all red and it's now also a little bit blue. And this looks like a smiley. Look, it's like a friendly little ghost right here. One eye, two eye, there's a really modest little smile there. Well, very, very modest. I'm liking it. It looks cute. So, where are we? Oh, look, there's sound when you go behind the aircraft. That's so cool. Okay, so let's have a look. Where are we in the world? Where's the world map? This is the high en route. Let's go world map. And get rid of this sucker here. We do need our little pink thingy for this to have a look at where we are. Oh, we're going to fly over the area of Corfu. That's nice. And then basically just straight line We fly to the right side of the Italian booth. You know, Italians make really cool booths, so maybe this is why, I do not know. You know, like if the Constellations had been not, you know, the Constellations were like invented, if you want to call it that, about 2,000 years ago, right? So what? Just imagine if we were the ones that had invented the Constellations in our time, then you'd be looking at, you know, you'd be looking at the sky. You would say that's the microwave, and there the sun is in the cell phone, you know, and yeah, that's the USB charger, you know, all those kinds of things. You know, and your star sign would maybe not be like Capricorn or something, but it would be like refrigerator. You know what I mean? Or it would be like, oh yes, my star sign is a jet, man, so I'm always really fast and straight to the point, and you know, all the bottom statements would still apply, obviously, because it's, you know, it's just simple science for you. But yeah, that's an interesting thing to contemplate. So that's something that well, I can come up with sometimes when I don't even have to be flying on a cruise flight, really, on the cruising stage. It just magically pops into my head, and sometimes my head complains, says, hey Arkady, why don't you just leave me alone here, man? And I'm saying, hey, who's saying this to whom? And then that's where it's getting really interesting, internal conversations, you know what I mean? It's the same as when you're saying to yourself, I want an ice cream. Who is saying to whom that they want an ice cream if it's all you know what I mean? But usually with people, you know, we should not be really thinking about this unless we want to drive ourselves crazy. And since we are intelligent animals, we have a choice in the matter, right? Like we can say, well, what are the pros, what are the cons? You know, screw it. I'm not going to do this. You know, I want sanity. So we just simply choose not to engage in certain kinds of thoughts, like the same as if you're going to contemplate about the ending, the never ending of the universe. You know, it's what everybody drives insane over, you know, because simply, you know, it's too big for us to understand. It doesn't make sense. But that says all about the way our brains are wired. We are wired to have an endlessness to things and an end to things. And if there is all of a sudden a concept of no end, we get like crazy. So we can just decide, well, you know what? We're just not going to bother then. You know. In some stages, that is actually I believe the most intelligent course of action. Otherwise, you'll be just, you know, I mean, how long is the universe? How long is your life? You know what I mean? There's no time at all to, you know, to fully comprehend certain things. So, yeah, not to completely say like I reject reality and substitute my own. You know, that's not what I'm talking about at all. But oh well, such is life, they say. So I wonder what we're going to find at the Split airport, if it's still there. I mean, when you've heard of all these zombie apocalypses, well, at least the movies, you know, I saw this movie once when there was an airplane flying and there was nothing on the ground. You know, they looked down and said, it's all gone. And then people said, I believe it was a Stephen King story, and then people said, what do you mean it's all gone? It's all destroyed? No, it's just gone. What are you talking about? Oh, it just looks black. There's just nothing. What do you see? Space? No, it's just nothing. So that's quite interesting. At least we can see blue down. And if we screw up, we're gonna see blue real quick as well. So now are we over the Corfu area? Probably. Look. This where we're going to is actually a really pretty area. I did a video on the screen where I was flying from Split to, man, what was the name? I forgot the destination. I think it was about here. Dubrovnik. We went to Dubrovnik from Split. Basically flew almost like a straight line like this But these islands here, man, it is beautiful. It's really cool. But obviously you have to fly a little bit lower, which is what I did on the stream. It was just, you know, like a little VFR kind of flight with a, I don't know, Pipe 44 Seminole, I believe it was. But it's a really pretty area, man. Definitely, at least, we're definitely going to fly back as well. One time. So yeah, this was actually advised by a friend of mine to fly from the Split Airport to Dubrovnik, and it worked out fine. It's definitely a beautiful area. You can see if you look out here as well. You know, there's so much water. I mean, not only water, obviously, but there's like water and some islands. You fly like through some land over the water. It's really cool. There's a lost little island. It just wants to belong. It just wants to belong somewhere. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We're currently flying at an altitude of 240,000 feet. And our ground speed is about 480 knots. There's no need to panic, but we are out of sandwiches. So then I'm going to tell my co-pilot here, like, okay, can you hear them panicking in the back? You know, you could tell them things like the wing is on fire. You know, and they'd be like, oh, that's so interesting. Oh, yeah. Oh, I've never had this happen before, you know. But you tell them, like, we're out of coffee, and they just go crazy. Because, man, human beings enter coffee, you know, it is insane. But, you know, we all got revised, obviously. So the wing is not on fire. Well, let me just check. Well, that wing tip does not appear to be on fire in any case, so that's good. So speaking of fire, what was our situation? We got 3,940 kilograms of fuel, so that's still good. And we are 226 nautical miles, so it was about 60. So about, I don't know, head calculating, man, it's advanced mathematics for Arkady. I'm glad I can hold the guitar and play a little bit on it. So the other day there was a stream on this channel at the Alaska area, and it was with the TBM 930, the single prop aircraft, and we're standing on the ground, parked, for a while before actually starting it up and everything. It was so cold out there that as soon as I got inside the cockpit, all the windows were frozen. Like, it was crazy cold. And we flew to some other airports also in Alaska, and I was reading the airport information charts for the destination airport, and it said something really cool and interesting. It said apparently moose, I repeat, moose, can be spotted at or near the runways. I mean, think about this. Moose. So you're flying there at, like, I don't know, 90, 80 knots or something. Flaps down, your gear is down, you're on the glide slope, and you're just about to land, and there's this moose all of a sudden, this huge ass moose that's staring at you saying, what are you doing on my runway? You know? What are you going to do? You know, it's not like you have a little klaxon that you can beep, you know, you know, like, get out of the way. No, he's gonna be like, screw you, human, you know? I'm doing moose kind of stuff here. Are you moose? Well, then you're not part of my party. You know what I mean? And obviously you do not want to have a collision with the moose. I mean, think about the poor moose and think about poor you. You know, it's not going to be pretty. So that's actually really out there, you know. There are these airports with these crazy conditions that it's possible to have a moose. You know, like you hear things like, why did this and this aircraft crash? Yeah, they got into they flew into a flock of birds, and one of the birds went through the engine, you know, and then caught fire. But when do you ever hear they landed and they landed on top of a giraffe? You know, it's crazy. But there are airfields out there, you know. It's cool. It would actually be cool if they implement this, you know, like there's a moose actually running on the airport. That would be really cool. I would definitely appreciate that. Well, at least in the beginning. Because, you know, now, you know, when you're flying in Microsoft Flight Simulator, you're taxiing and then you line up on the runway and you start taking off, and all of a sudden this ground service vehicle is driving straight on the runway, you know, while you are taking off. That is a little bit lame. You know, Microsoft Flight Simulator or Asobo Studios could have given that a little more thought, like to make some areas maybe like no-go zones, you know what I mean? Which did not really look like they did, or they succeeded if they tried it. Nonetheless, and you know, I do not want to bitch at the Asobo Studios. They obviously it's a very cool product. You know, there are definitely some weird. There's definitely some weird mistakes, or what if you want to call it, or some odd things in there. But overall, man, it's, you know, I've got this installed for about almost a year, I believe. I've got like, I don't know, 1,200 hours in it, 1,600 maybe. I got like 500 plus actual flying hours. You know, so I like it. I don't like it. I love it. So Split. Yeah, so I'm wondering about the V1 and the VR and the V2 speeds. Definitely going to have to check that. As I said earlier, it doesn't appear to calculate it for you. So we're going to have to be using our brains some more, which is obviously cool. But yeah, it's a piece of, it's an area of information that I haven't really dived into just yet. But obviously, you know, we're just higher primates, so you know, if one pilot can do it, so should be able to for Arkady, you know. It's just a matter of applying yourself and putting some priorities. Am I going to feed my children tonight, or am I going to open this textbook? You know, it's just simple priority. You know, am I going to work when I get paid to feed my children, or am I just going to sit at home and open this textbook? You know, it's a matter of priority. So there's the sun. So where's the moon now actually? Oh, that's behind us. So we could try and go to the moon. We just need a little more speed. And probably a bulkhead that could, you know, like fly through space. Not explode, or I don't think it would really be called an explosion when you go into a vacuum. Let's not get too physical there. There's the RILIM. Yeah, so we got a little ways to go, and then we can start our descent into the Split airport. really curious about the Phoenix studio that they are. As I said earlier, they are going to. They are actually now working on Airbus A320, and it's set to become study level or near study level. And I'm really curious to see how that's going to work out, because that is going to have a really big number of systems that you should, that you can actually manipulate, and or not even necessarily manipulate them, but also if something goes wrong, that you'll need to know something about it if you want to solve the problem, So that's pretty cool. That must have like a manual that's as big as the Bible or whatever. Not that I ever read the Bible. I also do not read Playboy, if you know what I mean. Let me say that again. I do not read Playboy or Penthouse. Can you say these words actually on a stream? I'm not really sure. They're brand names, I think. Maybe I could mention some other brand names. I'm not being endorsed or anything. I mean, I have like 8 followers. Who am I? You know what I mean. I'm smoking on the stream, but I did say the other day I do not. It's real damn bad for you, so don't do it. I will repeat: do not smoke. If you are smoking, stop. If you want to smoke, don't want it. Why would you? But yeah, I'm doing it. I know it doesn't make any sense. That's the whole point with an addiction. Smoking is an addiction, and that's the whole point. It does not make sense. So if you simply do not start, that is one thing. And any addiction you can kick, well, crack's probably going to be slightly harder. But let's not get lost in philosophy, shall we? We could maybe, on the other hand, get a little more lost in the guitar. landing in their necks. Who would smash a guitar into someone's neck, you know? Could easily use a frying pan and you still keep your guitar, you know what I mean? I'm just kidding, people. Violence is absolutely wrong. It is completely wrong. When you cannot no longer use your brain, you just walk away. Okay, so what we're looking at, we got some clouds up ahead. Well, we're sort of hit it. Let's have a little look outside. Nothing to worry about. Actually, it's kind of pretty. Okay, so let's have a look. What is the situation? Enter destination data. This is a good time to do it. So we go to the ATSU menu, and what we did earlier, you click on the AOC menu, and we check the weather request, and then we get the weather request, we send it, and then we'll get the meter. We're going to enter this information on the performance page for the approach. So, which is this one here. First, we will need to go and fetch it. So we go back to the ATSU. By now, it should have arrived. Go to the received messages. There it is. It's new, unviewed. Click on the print button. This is going to print it out for us. We got nifty little printing machine here on the board. And look at it. It's just spewing out paper. It's a part of a dead tree. That is obviously a little bit unfortunate. Okay, what we're looking at. Lima Delta Sierra Papa was issued at 12 Zulu. Oh, which is, okay, yes. It's now, what is the time? Ah, sure, we'll just keep it. Wind 320, 11 knots, 8 degrees, QNH 1008. So we enter this in, 1008 for the QNH, the performance page, Arkady, 1008, no, let's do it again, 1008, this goes on the QNH, and the wind, see, temperature was 8 degrees, Celsius, that is, 32011, 320 at 11, see was this correct in the scratch pad, 320 at 11, no, it says 1, now it says 11, enter it there, position altitude I believe was 10,000, let's start by putting that in. 10,000 feet, let's confirm on the chart. Let's get rid of the, let's look, where is it? This one. Level. Oh, there you go, 10,000 feet, so that's correct, and it was 440, I believe, yeah, for the barrel, 440, 44, and 0, there you go, reserve decision altitude. So we got all this information in, so that is done and out of the way. Go to the progress page, we're at 67 nautical miles. We're anticipating 60. Let's have a look at the wind. Are we being blown forward? There's the airport. So it looks like a fairly simple approach. It looks like there is a flight plan discontinuity. So let's really quickly check the flight plan. It did not look like we had a discontinuity. So maybe it's just displaying it weirdly for us. It looks like this. It looks fine. Where are we now? We are on our way to RILIM. Let's have a look here at the initial approach chart. We're on our way to RILIM, and from there we go to Sierra Papa 614, where we should be at or about 5,000 feet. And how far? Wait, don't click it away, Arkady. This is a leg of 30.1 nautical miles for us to descend. So, but we're all ready to go. We're going to descend sooner. Can we maybe zoom in? So is that? Sure, let's keep it like this for now. Let's start by going to managed speed in anticipation of our upcoming descent. So our range towards the top of the descent is 63 nautical miles. Oh, it's so nice and quiet out now. Alright people, so we're going to split. So I say we start our descent to 5,000 feet now. So we dial in 5,000 in the box there, and we click it. And the aircraft is now going to put the thrust levers to the idle. And as I said earlier, or before on other flights, it does not touch this. This just stays in the climb position. But the fly-by-wire, the backgrounds, the systems that work in the background, they do actually now take over and put the engines to idle. You see the N1, it's a little low, it's on the idle setting. So that's what's happening now, and outside you can hear it because there's hardly any engine roar, or not at all. It's just them sitting idling. When you fly the PMDG DC-6, it's a different story. You go down at your cruising speed, and then once you are at your initial approach altitude, if you will, that's when you start decelerating. The aircraft is trying to hold 290 knots. You can also see this in the performance page when it's in descent, which it is now. It's trying to hold 288 knots of airspeed. Let's have a look here, you can have a clearer picture. 288, so that is exactly what it's doing. Let's hope these clouds are not going to be a problem for us with regards to the frame rate, because that's always, it's always a sort of a bummer, right? Quickly jump over from an external screen, have a look at the quality of the video. Looks like everything is working. That's good. I had problems in the past where the part you see here at the top, it wouldn't update. But now that I've been using the FSU IPC plugin or module or whatever you want to call it, now it actually works. So the QNH was 1008, I believe. Let's check here, 1008. So what we could do now, we are not yet at the transition altitude. We could set this one to 1008. So at least we have some idea of how high it is that we are above the ground. You can see now that we've zoomed in, it actually looks a lot more as you would expect. So this is the more interesting part of the flight. You know, the cruising is just for, well, especially on the stream, you know, just play guitar, jump around a little bit. And you know, for, I believe for all of us sim pilots out there, and especially probably the real pilots, the landing, you know, it's always fulfilling if it's a good landing, you know what I mean. You know, you got you want to be ahead of the facts and not, you know, run behind them. You know what I mean? So yeah, so you want everything to be in order. You do not want to have any surprises, and especially just touch it down. You know, nice and easy, slow, not too rough. Don't float too long. You know, it's at some stage a lot of things start happening in very quick succession of each other, if that's the word. You know, like they follow each other like really quickly. It's a whole lot of things, and you know, so basically you're coming from a situation where you've just been chilling, playing guitar and whatever, setting the aircraft on fire, maybe throwing some cabin crew overboard. You know, if they spit in your coffee or whatever, or they forgot to put some special drink in your coffee, if you know what I mean. You know, and then all of a sudden you have to do a lot. You put to work. Because the frame rate does appear to be dropping a little bit. So well, it is going to be always going to be a challenge. What's the situation? We're at 13,600 feet, descending to 5,000, where we should be. We have 31 nautical miles. We're descending 2,100 feet per minute. So we got about 8,000 to go. So it should be about 4 minutes, and we got 13 minutes until we reach that point there. So we are we're well prepared for our descent. So that's always good. What I said earlier, you do not want to be behind the facts. At some stage you want to be precisely on the facts, but sometimes if you can be in front of the facts, ahead of them, that will be even that's always good. So once we reach 10,000 feet, we are going to set the local QNH, which is 1008. Quickly, don't get me wrong, but quickly going to chew on some nuts here. These branches are the cashew. If you like listening to people chew and talk and swallow at the same time, you may regard this part of the stream as an what's it called? ASMR. Nearing 10,000 feet. Turn on the landing lights. Seatbelt signs can go on as well. Almost at 10,000, so I'm going to switch now to local QNH 1008. That's the same as where we left. We're at 9,600 feet. We've got 30 minutes to go for the Sierra Papa 614. Zoom in one more step. I think that was 2. Yeah. 5,000 and 3,500 at Motmo. Basically, this part of the aircraft just go to fly itself. 3,500 is a constraint. We are not allowed to go below. Same goes for 622. 3,000. We maintain 3,000 all the way until we reach our initial approach fix, which is KMX. So 2,000 2800 is the altitude at which the glide slope will start. Oh, look, that looks pretty. Okay, my apologies, was not fully there for a moment. Sometimes I have to text my mother. So sorry. So that's why I said, do not smoke. There you go. Okay, so we're at 5,000 feet. This, oh wait, this is the time. This used, oh, okay, so I was looking at the wrong way all the time. This is 1343, which is now. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so we're at 5,000 feet. So let's get ourselves into gear here. So next straight 3,500. I'll put this in now, 3,500. And we descend. Here we are, our Croatia Airlines Airbus A32NX fly-by-wire. We're descending towards destination and getting ready for the final approach. We'll descend to 3,500 feet. Still manage speed mode. Let's put this to speed and not on Mach. Let's see, mode. Okay, let's leave the Sierra Papa Alpha. Let's have a look at the MCView. Let's put in Sierra Papa Alpha. Is 2,500, so the look outside the window. Yeah, this is to be expected. We're 3,500 feet now. We'll remain here until we reach Model. When we get over Model, we descend to 3,000 feet. You can see we are sitting at 3,400, but here every once in a while you can see in green the actual radar altitude, which means how high it is that we are actually
2,500
above the surface. So if you look down, that's what I'm talking about. This is showing GRA, that's the wrong one. It was Sierra Papa Lima. I put in Sierra Papa Alpha. There you go. It's not very important really for now. I just wanted to have a little let's see this one. We're still 7 nautical miles. Okay. And if we turn on the VR1 here, there you go. Sierra Papa Lima to 7 nautical miles. No flyover signs here, so it's probably safe to just let the aircraft fly it now, which is good news. So we're going to descend 3,000 feet. And we're turning on the landing system. This is going to pick up the ILS shortly. So let's start up the APU, which we're probably not going to be needing, but probably it's good practice just to do it anyway. And let's also now turn on the nozzle steering lights and the taxi lights. Nautical miles from Sierra Papa 622. Still looks like there's a gap there, you know. Let's arm the localizer. We cannot because the landing system is not picking up yet. No problem there. We remain on 3,000 feet once we get there, which we already are. Man, this is scaring me. And you know, we checked earlier, it did not look, let's see, we are on our way to KMX. After KMX, Sierra Papa 401. Not sure why there is not a line there, it's a little bit concerning. Anyway, this is what we're doing. 3,000 feet until we reach KMX, and then we go to 2,800. Let's switch to the approach phase. Confirm. So we are now in the approach phase. So we arm the ground spoilers and we monitor the speed for the flaps. Turn on the APU bleed. In case we need to restart the engines for any reason. 22 nautical miles, so we should now be able to turn on the localizer. It's armed, it's blue, it's not picking up yet, so we're not established on the localizer just yet. We are below the glide slope, you can see that here, so that's always good. Let's go flat 1. Speed still dropping. There goes the flight director. What's it doing now? I'm curious. Continuing. Looks like it is. That's good news. So we go to flaps 2. We set the auto brake to the low. I believe that might be the airport there, but I'm not sure. I'm not very familiar with the area. Sierra Papa 401, which is this one. So we are still. The Airbus is telling us it's going there. Just really not sure why there is a gap in the line there. Descent 2,800 feet now. Still below the glide slope. It's good. We can go flaps full. We're still 18 nautical miles. You are at 2,800. This is where we will remain for a bit. Speed's now on approach speed 140. Will not go lower unless we tell it to, or maybe until maybe we're on the actual final approach, probably, because it should be going to 133 knots. Still got plenty of fuel. Perhaps a little on the high side, I would think, but not really sure. Localizer still armed. Not really sure if we're intercepted. I'm used to having it boxed. $2,800 still. QNH 1008. Okay. Yeah, so for the rest, it looks like we're fully configured except for the landing gear, which we will drop at around, I don't know, 8 or 7 nautical miles. Zooming in one step further, you could see now the line here is showing. Zooming out, it's still showing. Alright, that's good. Don't know, was it me? Let's have a little look outside. So as I said, we're flying real world weather, but not real world time. Because it's nice if we, have something to look at while we're on the approach. Yeah, so that is the airport right there. So that's good. We do definitely have a visual. Glide slope's not coming yet. It should start. Is it FI05? Let's have a look quickly here at the final approach chart. FI05, there we go, which would be 8.6 DME from the IST ILS. So that is in about 1 point something. 11.1, 11. glide slope is coming. You can see it is slowly descending. So anytime now we could engage the approach, which we will do now. You can see it's picking up category 3 single. If we engage autopilot 2, it will change to category 3 dual, and this will enable us to actually auto land if we would like to. We're at 9.8 nautical miles from the ILS. Still going really slow, but you know, I personally prefer a little bit of a low energy approach over a high energy approach. Obviously not too low, but high is always too high and low is not always too low. It just takes a little longer, but we get to enjoy the view a little bit as well, right, where we're going. And this is not a bad area. I mean, if you look around, look at it, it's a lot of water. Imagine you're living here, man. Alright, so let's get into character here. We're on the glide slope officially, it's boxed. That's good to see. 2,500, so we are descending. Range is 7.7 nautical miles. So let's drop the gear, please. The gear is coming. And looks like the gear is down. Range 6.8, 6.7 nautical miles. Speed 138. So we are in for landing. Let's notify the cabin crew.
Flight attendants, please prepare for landing.
Well, deciding, always choose, trying to choose between which fuel to take, like this one or this one. I think this one. Let's see. This one shows a little more. I can read the primary flight display a little better, but this looks nicer. There's the runway. No mistake about it. Range 3.8 nautical miles. There's the outer marker beeping at us. Is there like a physical? Probably. This is us. The gear down. The sun behind us. The sea, lots of islands. It's a pretty area.
1,000.
Alright, so 1,000 feet now. Can we see some patches there? Yes, we can. Let's keep it the managed speed for now. At around 200 feet, we'll turn off the autopilot.
100 above. 500.
500 feet.
Minimum 400.
We're at minimums now, but we're going to land, so that's good. 400 feet.
300.
300. Turning off the autopilot. A little higher.
200.
200.
100.
100.
50, 40,
idle,
30, 20, 10, 5.
reversers are out, find the center line. We're not braking manually, the aircraft is braking for us. The reversers can be back to normal. Flaps can go up. And the ground spoilers can be disarmed. And there you can see our shadow. Well, welcome to Split, everybody. I hope it was as good for you as it was for me. Now, I'm not really sure. Do they have that is nice. Let's get rid of this one. Well, let's not start cheering too early. Taxi, airport briefing, airport info, that's probably it. Yeah, so we'll just have to turn around right there. Okay. And let's not get off the runway, shall we? Wait, let's look. No, so this is the turnaround area. Okay. So we turn around here. The Airbus is quite maneuverable, as you can see, on the ground, especially if you operate it correctly. Sometimes I do not. So it's nice to come back here. We, as I said earlier, we took off from this airport on the channel a couple of streams ago. Not too long ago, really. So we're now going into this direction. We'll exit through Bravo. And just coming up there on the left. Croatia 812, runway vacated. And sometimes it seems to oversteer a little bit. Could be just me that have. I know they changed something with the hydraulics for the nose wheel steering. But could be so. It could be me needing to well, to get used to it, really. So before we fully turn in here, let's turn off the landing lights. And let's also turn off the nose wheel steering lights and the taxi lights. What does this look like? Let's maybe just go a little bit further. shall we? Just nitpicking a little bit, but I don't know, I like it. Yeah, should be fine. I look at Sylvia again. It's Carmen. Sorry, Carmen. I thought it was Sylvia. My bad, my bad. Okay, so we'll stop. Let's turn off engine number 2, turn off engine number 1, and again let me welcome you to Split. Here we are. That was that. We survived. Hopefully the landing was okay. It appeared fine at first, but then once I heard the noise when we touched down, I figured it's probably a little rougher than I expected. But I will have a look at it later myself on the stream. Hopefully the thing popped up with the landing rate. Sometimes it does not, but I believe since the FSU IPC I think it does it all the time now. So that's it. So let's turn off the seatbelt signs there. And I guess it should be it for now. So thank you very much everybody for checking. Hope you enjoyed it. I know I did myself. Whenever you're seeing this, hope to see you at another stream sometime in the future. And there'll be plenty more. It's way too much fun. So that's it. See you next time. My name is Arkady Gidzenko. I'm your personal funky scene pilot. Thank you for checking and see you next time. Bye bye.